guys, I'm going to answer your questions because you had some really good questions yesterday. So I am going to find your questions. Here they are. Okay. So a lot of you didn't have any questions, but some of you did. Okay, so one person asked, what makes you want to be a ceramics teacher? I didn't want to be a ceramics teacher. I wanted to be an art teacher because I liked all forms of art. And when I first started, I actually thought I was going to be a painter. But then I started teaching ceramics, and I always loved ceramics. And once I started teaching it, I realized that I fell in love, and I have the best job in the whole wide world. So I didn't think that I wanted to do it right away, but I loved art. And so I knew I wanted to teach art, and I'm just so lucky that I get to teach clay, and I get to teach you. Okay, next question. What is the coolest, craziest thing you have ever made? I don't know if you can see this or not, but behind me, is an enormous bird vertebrae. It's kind of brown, and it's a bird vertebrae like blown up to enormous size, and then it has a big spine wrapped around it because your vertebrae is part of your spine. So I made that when I took a ceramics class at the U of M, and that's probably the craziest thing I have ever made. Okay. No questions. Oh, if we make additional clay pieces, will you fire them? Yes. So make whatever you want with your extra clay, bring it in. If it's just little, I won't charge you a firing fee for it. If it's kind of like our normal project size, then, maybe donate $1 to cover the clay and the glaze that you're going to end up using. All right. So how would I smooth the inside of my vase if I can't reach into it? The best way to do that would probably be to take the paintbrush that I gave you, dip the paintbrush in water, and smooth the inside. But honestly, if we can't see the inside, it's probably okay to not have it be so super duper smooth. You could also smooth as you go, and so you don't need to go back and smooth it on the inside later. Or another solution would be you could take the little sponge that I gave you and take a rubber band and rubber band that sponge around the end of a pencil, and then get the sponge wet, and you can use that sponge on a stick to smooth down inside your vase or your mug or whatever it is. Actually, that's a really good idea. You should do that. No questions. What should we do with our bowl if we're not firing it? You should have a separate bag that you started at home for all the stuff you want to recycle. So all your dry clay, any projects you don't want to keep. Make sure that you've recorded your video first. But then once you know you've gotten a grade, just throw the project you don't want in that bag. This bag should be separate from your good clay bag. And then just keep that and bring it in with you when you bring in your swag bag next week, because even that dry stuff can be recycled. Okay, other questions. Is the coiled vessel our last project? Yes. Yes, it is. Next week is all about glazing and firing and cleaning and bringing your stuff back to school. How do people get so good at clay work? Practice. Just like anything. Practice makes perfect. I was really crappy at clay when I first started. My first 3 projects blew up in the kiln. And yet I loved it so much I came back for more. So practice and you will get good at ceramics too. Is keeping up with class materials and substances expensive? Yes, running a ceramics program distant learning wise is so expensive because so many kids don't bring their clay back or don't bring their tools back, and then I have to go out and buy more out of my own pocket. So please bring your clay and your supplies back next week so I don't have to go out and buy more for my next group of kids. I do need a lot of clay. In the video from yesterday, how did he get his coil pot so smooth? So he was cheating. He was using a pottery wheel and smoothing the coil pot on the pottery wheel. We are going to be using a scraper, that plastic card. Oh yeah, that plastic card that I told you to have. We're going to use that to make your coil project smooth in the coming days. Senioritis, how to deal with finding the creativity when you're feeling like senior slide. That is a whole long conversation, and I don't even know the answer to it. When I'm trying to make my work for myself, my own work in my studio, there's sometimes where I just don't even want to touch clay. And I sometimes feel that way for weeks. You do not have the luxury, unfortunately, of not touching clay for weeks. So what I would say is put yourself in a good mood by putting on a good TV show, some good music, set a time limit for yourself. You can say, okay, from 6:30 to 7:30, that's my clay time. And so when the timer goes off on your phone and it's 6:30 and it's time to work with clay, your brain is already going to be in the mindset of, oh, this is what we do at this time of day. So get yourself in some good routines, even though we don't even have that much time left. Just make some, like, trick your brain into thinking this is something that is going to be what I'm going to do, and it's going to be fun and it's going to be enjoyable. And the good news is you don't have to trick yourself because it will be fun and enjoyable. So get yourself in that good headspace and the rest will come along. What time should I bring my project in to get fired? Anytime before 4:00 p.m. would be great because the school is open till 4. I'm here until 3. So anytime you want to bring it by after school, from 1:30 till 4, it would be great to bring it in. If I'm not here, you can leave it on the cart outside my classroom door. And so those are all your questions. I hope that I was able to answer your questions and provide a little bit of insight for you. I don't know where my screen went. Here it is. Okay. Yeah, message me if you have any further questions. That was fun. Thanks, guys.